Wicked. Brrr. Here we are with the blood witch, Yazmina Jade. How's it going?
Good, good. Thanks for having me.
My
The Blood Witch.
the capital THE.
Yeah.
Tell us. Let's just jump straight into that, shall we? Let's name the pink elephant. Let's tell us.
Name the witch in the room, right?
All right. Tell us about blood witchery.
So juicy. Yeah, well, it's like, what do you want to know, really? Where to start?
Tell us from how did it all begin, like this whole blood witch thing.
Yeah, so I have been doing feminine embodiment work for a while now. And to deepen my practice and expression, I felt called to do a blood ritual. And so this involved placing menstrual blood, like connecting with it first, so like with my hands through using menstrual cups, and then actually applying the blood on my face. And so this was like my own personal expression and ritual. And I decided to share it on social media, not thinking anything like of it. I was like just sharing my own experience. And like after 2 days of being live, it just kept getting shares and shares and shares, and it went completely viral. And we hit like the UK, we hit America, we hit India, Australia, like it was next level. And it's just like just been this crazy like roller coaster ride of just my message getting out there, really, and my ritual getting out there, and people just, some people going, oh my God, this is incredible, and other people going, what is wrong with you? Yeah.
Incredible. So where did you get the idea from? What happened? Like, where did you was it a dream that you had one day? Like where did it come from?
So a mentor of mine had mentioned it, and a few people in my circle had mentioned it. It's not kind of weird in my world where I come from. And so, I was intrigued. I was really intrigued and I was curious. And so that led me to wanting to experience it myself. It was just hearing it.
So you heard the idea and you're like, fuck it, why not? Let's do it and record it.
Like, I want to give this a go. And I was actually really shocked at the level of connection I experienced with my body and with my blood. Like, I didn't really think anything of it. I was like, oh, it's just menstrual blood. Like, it can't really have that kind of effect on me. And as soon as I touched it, it was like this weird, like, whoa, this is like a part of me. And it was like reclaiming this part of my feminine energy that I just had shut down. Like, I literally had been like, you know what? That's not even like anything important, whatever. It's like a waste product. Just like, yeah.
So in the past, you mentioned menstrual cups. Is that something that you've been using a while? Tell us about that, because I imagine that not everyone knows about these types of things as well.
Yeah. So menstrual cups I came across probably about a year ago, and started using them. So they're like these little cups that are like that, and you place them inside of you, and instead of using tampons and pads, this basically collects your blood. And you can, either just put it down the toilet, like empty it out, put it down the toilet, or like a lot of people use it in ritual, giving it back to the earth, or doing blood ritual, whatever it may be for you. And by using this, it allows you to just connect deeper to your body. So that's what I found, my own personal experience. And they're not harmful to the environment. We're not constantly like spending hundreds of dollars like per month, like on these waste products that are destroying our planet. And it's just a really eco way to connect in with self, and also to, not have to be buying all these products.
Yeah, nice. And I imagine it's a way to collect the blood so that you can do the ritual. I imagine it would be difficult to collect the blood in any other way, yeah?
Yeah, I don't think you could. Like, I've heard of women just kind of like bleeding out and not even using anything, but it's definitely a way to collect the blood and to be able to use it if you choose to.
And so the blood ritual so it's like you're painting the face, you're painting the body as well. Like, is there a particular intention you bring in? Like, what are there specifics, or is it you can't do it wrong, do whatever you want? Like,
it is totally just like, I feel it's like like tune into your own expression and your own intuition. Like some people wouldn't even paint it on their face. I felt called to, place it here. I kind of just did this like meditation process, like of putting it on my face. I put a little bit on my chest, but not much. And it's like the more I placed on my skin, the more I was like connecting to the self. The more I was like honoring that part of self, that sacred wisdom, the life force that's, that births. Yeah.
And what did you find in terms of, you said you were really surprised with the connection you felt with it. Like, how long did you leave it on? Do you specifically wash it off in a certain way? Or like, as it stays on you, do you feel a deeper connection again? Like, just tell us about the process of what it feels like when you're actually doing it.
Yeah. So it feels like, let's tune into it. It felt like I was like coming home to a part of self that I didn't realize I'd even lost. It was like this really bizarre, familiar feeling, and I felt whole, and I felt like I had let go of this shame that I'd been carrying. So it's like, as soon as I connected to the blood, even just holding it, it wasn't even placing it all over my face, but even just touching it in my hands. Like I had this weird moment. I was just like, whoa, this is like from my body. Like, and it was like this profound, like, link in to my blood. And I was like, whoa, this is like special stuff. Like, and so the feeling of that was like just this honoring and this like worshipping of myself. And I was like, oh my God, it's like the missing piece, the missing piece to the feminine embodiment is like reclaiming the blood. And that's kind of like what I felt through the process. And so, the face stuff was like awesome. Putting it on my face, it felt this deeper connection. And I kept it on for, God, like maybe 5-10 minutes, not that long. I just kind of sat with it and just kind of like breathed and just embodied what was coming up for me, and just kind of like being aware of the thoughts that were coming up. And there wasn't a certain process to washing it off. It was just washing it off when I felt time. But yeah,
beautiful,
super powerful.
And in terms of the response that people have as well, like I know that you shared with me the other day a lovely message saying that it's so empowering, so inspiring what you've been doing. What have you found has been like people have done their own rituals and sharing? Is that something that you invite people to do? Is there like a hashtag blood ritual or blood ritual? Like is there a bit of a movement that you've started around this? Or
there's definitely been a massive movement, and I've had a lot of women, even men, reach out to me, just sharing how grateful they are that this has been spoken about and it's been shared. A lot of women have tried the ritual, like either connected to their blood in some way, either by buying menstrual cups or, doing a proper like ritual and adorning themselves with it. But the response has been incredible. It's definitely been like a 50% love it and are embracing it and like, yes, we want more of that. And then 50% are like, whoa, this is too much. You are absolutely crazy. Like, no, this is not cool.
And in terms of like that, is there is there a hashtag for it? Is there something that people can search for? Like how do people find out about it who haven't seen it or haven't?
If people just Google like Blood Witch or Yazmina Jade, it comes up with all of the articles, all of the videos, all of those things. But there's no certain hashtag that I have been using, which would have been a great idea, but
How about what would you like it to be if there was one? What would just coming off the cuff now?
I think like it would be awesome to link it to the Blood Witch stuff, because that's what all the articles are saying. So it kind of just ties everything in.
Hashtag Blood Witch or hashtag Blood Witch ritual or something like that.
Yeah, totally.
Yeah, awesome. And what would you encourage people to do who were thinking of the people who are the 50%, there's always going to be 50% support and challenge, obviously. In terms of like, have you found that the people who are 50%, like, what the fuck's wrong with you? Like, is this disgusting? This is gross. Have you found any of those people, like, after the conversation has been started, that they're hanging. It's like maybe there's something in this, and
they become curious. Yeah. So I had, when it was all going on, like full on, I was observing what was coming up for people, and a lot of it was like trigger, reaction, and then if I would actually have a conversation with them, they would drop into like curiosity, and they'd be like, oh, okay, well, why are you doing that? And then beneath that, after I'd like give my response, they were definitely like, they thought differently, and they were like, like the awareness started to build around it. So I think initially it shocked a lot of people. Like I even had friends that were like, you know, we can't speak to you. Like you've lost the plot, and really disown it. And then once they sat with it and kind of like were like, oh, okay. And then they came back and they were like, you know what? It was all my own stuff. So it's bringing up so much stuff for people all over the world. Like it's incredible.
Yeah, and it's that self-awareness piece of judgment and things are right and wrong.
Yeah.
You know, what is acceptable,
totally. It's such deep conditioning. Like we've been shamed for this for lifetimes. So it's like really, really old belief systems that are being triggered and being brought up, and people aren't even aware of when they decided this. It's like, when did you decide to think that your menstrual blood was like gross, you know?
Yeah, it's just like this conditioning that's been handed down, right? It's not even what people are thinking for themselves.
Yeah.
So in that, I just had a thought then that I imagine if this got big enough that you might have opposition from Libra, from you know these kind of people. So like, where can, which I'm not against at all. You know,
yeah.
So where can people actually, is it just you go to your pharmacist to find these cups and things, or is it online? Or
at the moment it's definitely like online, menstrual cups and diva cups and moon cups. But then there's also like a few health food stores. Some pharmacies are stocking it, but it's not fully mainstream enough yet for supermarkets to be stocking it. Maybe some of the like holistic ones, yeah. But I got mine from a holistic kind of supermarket. Yeah.
And what are the benefits of doing it? I know you mentioned some, but what more flow-on benefits? There's more connection with self, there's more honoring of self. Like what other kind of benefits maybe that you didn't even realize or didn't expect came about as a result of you just doing this practice for yourself? Or that other people have found that you're like, hang on, this has actually improved my sex life, or actually this has made me more confident, or actually this has made me way less judgmental. Or like, what are some of the kind of flow-on benefits that you've seen that people have had?
Yeah, I feel like I've had a few stories of women that have connected with their blood and how it's healed issues with, you know, ovarian cysts and like pain, menstrual pain and cramping and stuff like that. Like we're not meant to get pain, so it's like there's some disconnect there. So I think just by connecting with the blood, that in turn starts to heal the relationship with those organs and with the womb and all of that. My own personal experience, was definitely the power it held of the like reclaiming, letting go of the shame. Like I had so much shame around bleeding that I didn't even realize until I like actually touched the blood, and I was like, wow, okay. That's so cool. And yeah, I know, I was like, oh, this is cool. New makeup.
Lipstick.
Yeah, I've got it on the lips right now. And yeah, the connection to my womb. So really reconnecting that link from my heart to my womb and having appreciation for the fact that I can create life within my own body. You know, how incredible we are as women and how powerful we are when we really tap into that life-giving energy that's stored within the womb. So that's like, it's taken me on a whole nother journey, but yeah.
And what have the men found? You said you've had feedback from men. Like what was the common feedback, or what are you receiving from the guys?
A lot of men have been like praising me. Like they're like, women need to hear this, women need to like own this, they need to step up into their power. And what I found was like more women were shameful of it than the men. Like the men were like encouraging of it, and the women were like, well, no, like this is too much. So it was interesting just hearing how grateful they were that someone was sharing this message.
I just heard a whole bunch of listeners and people out there say, Fuck these guys. Who are they to tell women what they need?
Totally. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
And for you, talk to us on that topic. Not that men are cunts, but on the topic of the womb. Tell us a little bit about that. You said it sent you on a whole nother journey. Care to share anything about that?
Yeah. So during like these last, probably seven or 8 weeks, I've been journeying the womb wisdom and going deep into unlocking and letting go of lifetimes of kind of like trauma and heavy, dense emotions that get stored within the womb, for different reasons. But it's been really interesting. Like, I've been working closely with a mentor of mine, and she is just incredible in the work that we've been doing just to clear everything out and really like embody the feminine energy on a full body level. It's like not just knowing it, not just feeling it, but fully feeling it and embodying it, and tuning into the womb wisdom, which is like our intuition as women. It's like our magical, I feel like it's like this like channel that we can connect into, and our womb ends up leading us once it's been activated. And you know, we get rid of all of the dogma and the shame and the trauma that's stored within it. So I've been working with her doing a full-on process called womb spiral, and yeah, it's life-changing, absolutely life-changing.
I imagine that would definitely get you more in touch with that gut feeling, that intuition, like you said, and be able to trust your intuition a lot more, and really drop into a state of trust and holding and nurturing and creation as well. So like, have you found that what have you found in terms of post or during this process, your relationship with trust and your relationship with creation and your creativity and your relationship with really nurturing and loving and really actually going with that wisdom of that gut? Because I know a lot of people are stuck in their head. A lot of people are like heads just walking around, and there's all this story and there's all this reactivity, and you know, they forget that there's a body underneath the brain. And so connecting in with that, I imagine it would open up a bit more sensation as well, and really sensitivity of the skin. So is that actually, is any of that real for you, or?
100%. Especially for me, what I found sexually, like being so shut down and like not even, you know, I spent so much time up here. I was so in my head, and through doing this work and through doing womb activating and clearing, I can now like drop into my body and drop into my womb and actually feel what that feels like. And so that's like where we manifest from as women. And I think as men too, but like as women, I'm sure like that's where we manifest from. And so for me, my manifesting, my being able to create has become so much more potent. And I know I have this level of clarity and alignment that's like was not there before. And I can stand it's like I can just stand in my power on a whole nother level and fully like feel that and embody that. And so, you know, just letting go of the shame and letting go of the guilt and letting go of the trauma and letting go of all of that dense stuff has allowed me to fully be able to like feel my body like on a different level. Like touch is so much more sensual, and I feel so much more like this goddessy vibe. And yeah, it's completely changed.
Yeah, beautiful.
Completely different person. It's crazy.
And so what started that process? Like, I guess in terms of, did that sort of lead you into this world? Like, I know for you, you said it's a year ago that you did that ritual. Is that right? How long ago was
No, the blood ritual was in January.
Okay, so only a couple of months ago. So in terms of like finding, you know, this womb work and this, you know, you said you're a different person than before. Like, what sort of led you to this? Like, how did you find out about this kind of world of the sensuality and the sexuality and the connecting with self and womb and body and embodiment and all of this stuff? What does that journey look like? What has that journey looked like for you?
How does it look like? So I guess it's always kind of been there, and I guess I've always known. It's like this inner knowing. I'm like, there's more to life. There's more to life than what we see. And it's been this like intuition of mine, but I completely kind of disowned that part of self and didn't listen to my intuition. And I became really masculine and in my head and kind of like hustle mode, just go, go, go. I was running my own business and I was just really disconnected. And through that, I created like ovarian cysts, and I created all these, like, I created almost nearly at a level of cervical cancer and had to go have surgery and all of this kind of stuff. And I'm like, what am I doing to myself? Like, what's going on here? And so I really had to look at the way that I was running my life and had to really, you know, ask, was this a path that I was going to go down? Was I going to just allow my health to be like lost and to go down this journey? So I had to let go of everything. I had to fully burn everything to the ground and let go of everything and start afresh.
What specifically? What did you have to specifically? What do you mean let go of everything? So the business,
like I specifically let go of my business. So I sold the business, sold the house, moved into state, and I was like, I need a fresh start and I need to build my foundation, how I want to live, how I want to build it. And it took so much courage, and it took so much of like my strength to walk away from my comforts and to walk away from everything that I knew, right? I didn't know anyone where I was moving. So
what helped you? Like what, because I imagine that's scary, that courage, like not everyone would say yes to that, you know. What really helped you to actually say yes to the scary thing, or the scary thing?
For me, it was like a no-brainer. Like I couldn't keep going the way I was going. It was like I was pushed up against a wall, and my heart and soul were like, you need to go do this. Either go do this or you get worse, basically. So it was like this kind of like, I just knew, and I just had to trust that, and I had to surrender to that. And that was difficult because I've been a control freak my whole life. I wanted to like know everything, do everything, and I fully just had to like let go of that. And so it was, you know, it was just a journey, listening to myself.
And did you have any advice, or were people giving you shitty advice, or like were people telling you, no, what are you, you're all right, like you're fine, keep going the way you're going, it's absolutely, you're tripping balls, like you don't know what you're talking about? Or were there other people as well who were saying, yeah, no, you're right, you need to do something about this? Or like, what was the support like for you?
I definitely had people in my life that wanted me to stay for their own benefits. And, you know, for them, it triggered stuff within them because they like wanted to do that, but they weren't comfortable doing that. You know, they wanted to stay in their comfort zone. So for them, they wanted me to stay in my comfort zone. And then I had people going, yes, you need to do this. This is like what you need to be doing. Like, listen to your heart, just go, just do it. And so, you know, I'm so blessed to have a mum that supports that kind of thing. She's like, just go, you know, and to have someone so close to me that is full supportive of that, I was like, okay, I'm going to go. What's the worst that could happen? Yeah. Yeah. And so
that mentality as well. What's the worst that could happen? It's like, well,
yeah, I could move back, you know, or I could start another business or buy another house, like whatever it may be. And so doing that, to just be in search, be curious as to how I can reclaim my feminine energy, because I realized it was a lack of feminine, and I was fully like overdrive in my masculine. I was like, okay, I've got to bring it back to a balance. So I started seeking out feminine embodiment things. I was seeing different healers, practitioners, just building my awareness, building my knowledge, researching for myself, and listening to my heart on what felt right. Yeah. So trial and error, really, and then just cultivating my own things and own practices to be able to support myself.
So tell me a bit more about that, cultivating your own practices. Or first of all, what did you find, and what you said, trial and error? Trial and error. So were there some things were like, oh, that's gross, it doesn't work at all, and there were some things that you found were like, fuck, this is exactly what I need right now? What were they? And then you said cultivating your own practices. What did they look like? Yeah.
Okay. So a lot of it was learning how to manage my stress, learning how to breathe properly. Like I was like a breather from here. Like I would only breathe. I didn't know how to breathe. Like, what is that? So, you know, through different events and meeting different people, learning how to breathe was massive.
Where did you learn how to breathe, and how did you come across that, and what can you share? What did you learn, and what can you share with us that worked for you to
Mm. The greatest teacher for my breathing was definitely a friend of mine who has practiced Tantra for years and just helped me tap into the breathing and the full embodiment of like breathing.
Is it a long time friend of yours, or someone you made on your search?
No, someone I met when I moved up here. Yeah, up here in Gold Coast. And so, yeah, the breath work was through a friend, and then deepening that in events that I went to. So then I attended Dancing Eros, which is an incredible feminine like archetype embodiment, I don't know, event that goes for about 4 days, and we dive deep into embodying these different archetypes and different energies. And so being in that space, being in a room full of women, and we're journeying these practices together, you're learning, like I'm learning how to breathe, and I'm learning how to embody, and feels like, so breath is a big part of that.
And what you said, learning how to breathe, what particular breathing styles, or what kind of principles or practices can you share that work
like
for you in terms of de-stressing?
Yeah. So for me, it's one hand on my heart, one hand on my womb, and just like breathing into my belly, doing big deep breaths into my belly, and like focusing on those points. And it's not like, for me, it feels like I'm like tying them together and linking them together, and it just helps me ground into my body. And it's also making sound. So then it was like the breathing, and then I was like, oh, if I add sound in there, I just drop into my body on another level, which for me, I was like, hell no, I ain't making sound. Like, like even when I would have sex, I was like shut down completely. So it's like having to retrain myself completely, how to breathe, how to make sound, like how to even be in a body.
Awesome.
Yeah.
What was that like for you in terms of because I work with a lot of breath. I teach Qigong. It's breath, body, my movement connection. It's it's body connection. So when we're breathing, a lot of people that I've found who come to me and who I work with in classes and workshops and whatnot, they say that they struggle to breathe. They struggle to breathe into the belly. Was that something that was a difficulty for you going in, or you sort of just figured it out really quickly? Or like, what worked for you in terms of, was there a moment where you're like, actually, I can actually breathe into here? And if there was, what was the shift in that enabled you to actually drop that breath down into the belly?
So I feel like the belly breathing wasn't difficult for me to get, but what was difficult for me to get was to remember to do that. Like, to remember to breathe. We breathe all the time. Obviously, we need to stay alive, but to breathe on that deeper level, it was like it's a constant, even to this day, it's a constant reminder. And it's like I'm reprogramming all the time because I was so used to breathing so shallow.
So for you, the piece was awareness, the self-awareness of actually reminding yourself, actually, oh, that's right, I can take a few breaths.
Oh, wait, I got to breathe, yeah.
and was that just, you said still to this day, so you just remind yourself throughout the day to take a couple breaths, one breath, is it 10 breaths? Like, what's the particular process that you stop into it?
It's normally 3. I like 3. It's like a good counting number, but it's if stuff's going on and I'm realizing that I'm getting stressed out, or I'm thinking about the future, or things are happening in my life. It's like, okay, wait, no, I've got to bring myself back to the moment, bring myself back to my breath, and just tune back into my body. And it instantly just dissolves what I was worrying over, what I was stressing about. It's like, that's the key for me to manage my stress, my stressor. Yeah, being in the moment, which is what the breath does.
100%. Beautiful. And in terms of adding the sound, are we humming? What's the principle around the noise and the breath and the vocalization, or the sound piece that you mentioned?
I guess the sound piece is the sound. It's you're hearing it as well as like feeling it. So for me, it just helped me to drop in deeper. So for me, it's like, and I just like breathe into my womb and like just breathe into that space, and that instantly like helps me just like go, it's like that feeling.
That's true. Like a lot of the sounds, like the yummy sounds, like when something's delicious, we're always like, this is yum.
Yeah, when I'm eating yummy food, I'm like,
yes.
Yeah.
And in terms of practicing that, going from I never make noise, I don't make noise when I make love, I don't make noise in group settings, I don't even make noise by myself. What was the switch for you that really actually helped you? Like, is it just the instantaneous feeling good? You're like, this feels good, I'm going to keep doing it? Or was there some sort of mindset shift that you had to have?
I definitely had to work at it. It didn't come naturally to me. And the thought, it was more like the self-judgment and like, what would people think? Especially if I was out and about. If I'm out and about doing it and making all these breathing noises, like, people think you're insane. So I was getting over that, and it was like just not giving an F about what people thought, really, and learning.
You can say the word here. It's fine.
Not giving up a fuck what people thought. So it was a process. It was like constantly just going, it's okay, I'm allowing this, like just be.
So it's like a permission. And is that still something that you're working through, or you find that it's a lot easier now after repetition? Or
yeah, it's a lot easier after just doing it. And the more I do it in public and in front of like friends or people around me, the more I'm like, oh, I don't care anymore, like, it's fine, I've done that. Yeah, especially doing embodiment work and being in events and stuff, and just dropping into that and not caring in regards to like what people are thinking.
Yeah, nice.
Yeah,
not giving a fuck. Like, we only have a finite amount of fucks.
Best book ever. Yeah. Given. Yeah.
So in terms of the piece around sexuality and sensuality, like heightening your senses, for me it's a no-brainer. Like, making sound is like, it just heightens senses. So do it. So it's enough of a reward to just do it. It's like, yeah, why wouldn't you not do it? Like, I was in a similar boat. Like, I didn't make much noise, but then I'm like, no, I really felt the pleasurable sensations of it. So it's just like, this feels good, of course I'll do it. So it's like, it's a 1 + 1 = 2. So do the thing. At the same time, it's just that remembering piece as well. But for you, what was the change? You said that you disconnected, to your vagina and your cervix, and you had all this stuff happening in the womb. Once you started to reconnect, how did that open you up sensually and sexually?
Oh, it was like I could feel energy in my body. I could actually feel. I wasn't numbed out. I wasn't I wasn't going into stress response. It's like I used to get so worked up that I would not even feel, and I'd like shut down basically, and I just stay in my head. Whereas from doing this kind of work has allowed me to stay in my body and actually feel what pleasure is, feel what touch is on the skin, and feel how it feels to breathe, how it feels to make sound, like how it feels to receive that and to give that. And so it's like, it's completely changed my way of being, especially like sexually.
And that's in terms of like exploring that. Is that something you explored with yourself, or you explored with lovers, and how do you go about creating those spaces for yourself, and if so, with others?
It's gotten a bit frozen.
Did you catch any of that?
I think you were asking me if I was like exploring, like how did I explore?
So exploring that with others and yourself, in terms of the really getting in touch with
so I had I was working with
Go for it. You're working with?
I was working with different practitioners, and doing my own personal practices, but I had to go and get a lot of it cleared. So through a tool called Spiral, I went and did that, and that completely changed all of that, helped me get rid of a lot of the trauma that I was carrying in my body. And then also seeing like tantric practitioners and getting yoni massage, and really just starting to like embody everything and feel again.
So say those things again. I obviously know what Spiral is, but just give us a quick rundown of your experience with Spiral. And also you said yoni, and I think you said tantric practitioners. We'll park those for now, but we'll start.
I forget people don't know all this stuff. So Spiral,
well, even yourself, like you 2 years ago, were you aware of all of this stuff?
No idea.
Yeah.
No idea. Yeah. So Spiral, I don't even, like, to be honest, I don't know how to explain it. I know that it just changed my life forever.
In what way? What did you, before before you did it to now or after? Like what was, or during and after? What's the differences?
So before I was stuck. I felt like I was really stuck in it. Like I was stuck in an unhealthy relationship. I was stuck in myself. I didn't know how to express. I didn't know how to be what I wanted to be without feeling shame and guilt around that. I, knew that it's like it's like I was just carrying all this stuff around that wasn't mine. It's like I just had all these suitcases and these bags, and I was just like, all right, we're going somewhere, but I've got a lot of shit I'm taking with me, So it's like it helped me just cut all that baggage off and allowed me to just be who I am and allowed me to embody more of my own energy, embody more of my radiance. So a lot of it was like being seen as like who I am. And through that process, just shifting, like I literally look different from however long ago it was when I went through spiral. I look different, I walk different, I speak different, I carry myself in a whole different way because I'm more integrated. Like I'm more in my wholeness rather than like disconnected.
And from what to what, like, so in the difference of what specific differences, like you walk different, how did you walk then? How do you walk now? How did you talk then? How do you talk now? How did you feel then? How do you feel now?
So then I felt shut down, suppressed, and like I just didn't have vitality. I was just like, whatever, this is boring. Life's boring at the moment. And how I walked was like just with less confidence and ownership of like my beauty and who I show up as, because I was very shameful around how I looked. And so that.
What do you mean by that? How did that show up? Like, what do you mean by shameful around how you look?
Like I was shameful in the sense of I didn't want to be seen in my beauty because it triggered people, and a lot of like women especially would get jealous from it, and men would give me a lot of attention, and I was like, don't look at me kind of thing. So it's like now just like,
you'd be like hide behind fringes and all this stuff and...
hide behind my hair. Like it was that whole not wanting to be seen because that drew too much attention to me, positive, negative, whatever it may be. And so from doing spiral, it's allowed me to step more into like my beauty and my power and just going, well, this is me, I'm going to trigger you or I'm not going to trigger you or whatever, and I'm just going to own it.
Beautiful.
And speaking has just, I can speak. I literally like used to not speak. I wouldn't share what was going on. Like in relationships, I would suppress everything. I'd wait till it got to the point of where I'd fucking explode. I just wouldn't have confidence to be able to share what I needed to share. The voice stuff was really big for me. There's no way I could have been on a podcast like, I don't know, like 8-9 months ago, a year ago. Like I just would be way too scared.
Wow, that's huge.
Yeah.
Let alone the vision, the be virally video yourself. That's been a big piece that a lot of people have troubles with, is even just putting their face or their voice or like going Facebook Live, doing things live and getting things wrong, fucking shit up. So has that been something that your relationship has changed with, in terms of like literally being seen on recording yourself, the photography, things like this? Or
the other big thing I noticed was the way that which I still kind of catch myself out on it, but the way that when a camera's in front of me, I like put on the face. I'm like, like I start posing and start doing this thing. And I'm like,
start working it, start with the pout, start with the
the zoom lens. You got that one down pat. So learning to not have to pout all the time, not have to put the mask on, not have to play the game. It's like, no, I can just be me and show up in that, and it's beautiful,
And in terms of like the body itself, like was there stuff you held in there in terms of like shame or guilt or like stuff around your own body and the acceptance of yourself? Like, do you feel that the journey that you've taken with that reconnecting with the womb and all of that stuff, was that, you said, was that different as well? You said there was lots of differences. Was there any pre and post around that?
Like not even like, God, I wouldn't even be comfortable naked in front of my partner, let alone women. Like some of the events I've been doing, I've been running around naked in front of women. Like that to me was like insane probably a year ago. So, you know, the way that I now love on my body and am able to just like be in my skin around people, like be seen in that and be naked in that is like, yeah, it's really, really different to the way that I used to be. I'd have to cover up, like not fully cover up, like wear bikinis or something like that, but like I wouldn't be full naked. No way. I hadn't even been skinny dipping. Like a year ago, I'd never swum naked.
And that's unlocked, and now you do it all the time, or?
Yeah. Yeah. Mm-hmm. I'm like, I just want a naked house. Like that's it. I just want to be naked all the time.
I feel that sex positivity, that body positivity, I feel it's coming through more and more, and I think it's a very healthy thing personally.
Well, the more you kind of are in your naked body, the more you're like, oh, it's comfortable. Because like when we wear clothes, we forget, and we kind of like, you know, I feel like the more we're just walking around naked, the more it's like, oh yeah, this is normal.
Well, we look when we're the children, you don't make a thing of children running around naked, you know, it's just
totally.
become adults, you know. And also one of my favorite things is like when it rains, it starts raining outside, whether it's cold or hot, doesn't matter. But a lot of people are like running for cover and putting umbrellas up and trying to get out of it. Me, I'm getting naked and getting out in that shit. Like I'm running straight there and feeling that rain hit my naked body. I don't think that's something that we get to feel a lot of the time. It just really takes me into this kind of really primal, really kind of ancient, you know, wisdom or something like just there's this like ancientness because it's like pre-clothing, you know, just like before we had umbrellas and things like this, you know. Yeah,
I have to put my laptop on charge. It's got 1%.
Yeah. So it's a big piece. And what is, I guess, some of the core lessons that you've learned over the past little while that you feel would be beneficial to share with, you know, the people who you love to speak to the most? You know, do you love to speak to women? And I know you work with adornment and makeup and things like this. I know you have some messages around that. What's some of the core kind of learnings that you've had over this past little while with that, but then sort of segging into some of the work that you do with the makeup and the adornment?
I think some of the biggest messages is like, listen to yourself, start trusting in yourself more, and letting go of the fear that's stopping you from actioning, like from that place of trust and inner knowing, because we've all got it. And it's like tuning into the heart more, and letting go of those things that are not serving you, letting go of the relationships, letting go of the unhealthy eating habits, letting go of whatever it is that is not in alignment with your truth or your higher self or your best, you know, what makes you feel good.
So is it that easy? Is it just letting go of it, or like you're really at the end of
the day? Well, it is to a degree. It definitely is. It's like going, well, fuck this. I'm just going to stop. Like, let it go, you know, stop having to control everything. But it's also, you know, it's a process, because if you've been doing something for so long, you've got to recondition yourself in some way. And it's building.
Right?
So it's like the awareness piece, the letting go piece, the trust. They've been keys for me. It's like, and having to let go of the fear that was controlling me. So, you know, let go of fear.
What have you found in terms of, you said you were a self-professed or proclaimed, I don't know the right term, control person, you know, was there control junkie, or I can't remember the words you used, control freak, I think it was. Control freak. And so what allowed you to actually drop into the trust of letting go, and to really drop into the trust, or drop into the space of it's okay, and to face the fear and the courage that it takes to actually just, you know, let go of control? Like what allowed that?
So it was like those moments, you know, those moments when things happen and you think it's going to be like the worst possible outcome, and then in some way, shape or form, it all just works itself out. It was me having to remind myself of those times.
Not so bad.
And going, you know what? I just have to trust. Like I just have to surrender, because every time it always ends up working out for the better. Like in some way, shape or form, even if I think it's bad at the particular like time, it always ends up working. So I kind of had to just remind myself of those moments when shit was hitting the fan. I'd just be like, okay, remember that time when, you know, blah, 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 blah. And then I'm like, okay, it's all right, just trust.
So it's like a self conversation you have with yourself almost. It's go, it's going to be okay. It's actually, you know, this is bullshit. You know that you actually have reference points that show that it actually is okay to let go.
Yeah. Reminding myself of that.
And in terms of, the stuff that you do talk about with the work that you do, like, can I know about more of that? I only know a little bit about it, so I'd love to learn more about what the work is that you do, why you do it, how you came about it, and what your vision is with it.
So my background's hair and beauty, and I've been in the hair and beauty industry for over 14 years. And so that's allowed me a real deep insight into working with women and seeing how we view our beauty and view ourselves, and the self-critical kind of conditioning we have around that. And so I've been cultivating and creating a new approach to how we adorn, how we apply makeup, how we do our hair, how we dance, like how do we embody all of this in a really, beautiful way and a loving way. So at the moment I'm working on creating an online 6-week program for women to learn how to create like a look, how to do makeup, how to learn all of those tools, but also create a healthy relationship with their inner beauty and their outer beauty. How to have a healthy relationship with makeup, how to have that beautiful connection with self again. So it's like reclaiming that beautiful feminine energy and that adornment piece. Yeah, so that's what I'm working on at the moment, and that's what's getting created. And I also do like work with women one-on-one to teach them, mentor them, coach them in these realms of beauty, dance, and adornment. That's just my passion and what I love, and because I've seen such an unhealthy aspect of it in the hair and beauty world, I'm like, this world needs to change. Like we need to build some more awareness around it and some love.
Excellent. Thanks for sharing that with me. Sorry about that. Just lost us for a second there. So I was just asking about the unhealthiness that you've seen in the industry, and what aspects of health, and like what would you define as a healthy relationship with adornment and beauty and makeup, and what is unhealthy. First start with what's unhealthy and what you've seen, and what you feel is a more healthy relationship, and what you'd like to see more of that actually fulfilled, makes people happier, makes people more light up with joy, and have a really strong, whatever it is that how you would define a healthy relationship with these aspects that you work with.
Yeah. So I guess the unhealthy version is the self-criticizing, like to the extreme. Women are known for this, you know, and when you get a woman in front of a mirror and she's, you know, facing off with herself, it's like she could name 100 different things that she hated about herself. And so being in the industry and witnessing that, and witnessing even when women look beautiful, they still are like, no, there's this bit, there's that bit. Oh no, it's not good enough, you know? And it was really difficult to be in that industry, because I'm there, I'm servicing, I'm helping, I'm providing, you know, this change, and it's still never good enough because they're not happy on the inside. So it's always the inside. They'll come to you, like they came to me in hairdressing, and they would want you to fix their whole inner world through the outside. And so I realized that these issues that we have with ourselves, these self-criticizing belief systems that we've got running in the background, like our external, how we do our hair, how we do our makeup's never going to change that. So I was like, okay, something needs to change. Like this is not healthy. And so my approach in what I'm creating and what I've created has been to go into the inner world first, realign all of that, and then bring in the beauty of the adornment on the external environment. So it's like linking them back in, making sure that, you know, we're not searching on the outside for that beauty. We've actually got it within, and we can radiate it out. And then the makeup and adornment's just a beautiful cherry on top, you know. So that's like been the piece of seeing how unhealthy it is. Like it was, it's witnessing women in that state is not desirable. And then seeing when you give women the right tools and environment to be able to clean up all of that inner world shit, and then be able to go and build the confidence on the outside to be able to apply makeup in a really loving way and in a conscious way, and also be able to dress and carry themselves in a way that allows them to fully radiate that essence outward, is just so empowering and incredible. They fully radiate and reclaim that essence.
100%. And for you, there's some practical, like, there's some either practical actions that women can take into, or like mindset shifts that they can make in terms of to start that, to go away from that unhealthy, to get away from that and move more into the healthy kind of relationship with these, with the makeup, with the adornment, and with beauty.
Yeah, so the biggest piece is awareness first. We don't have awareness around the fact that we're doing it, but we can't change anything. So for me, it was realizing that I had all of these negative thought processes going on. It was I'd be doing my makeup, but it was never good enough. It's oh, you look good, but you could look better, or or you need to change this, or you need to go get this done, or whatever it may be. So it was realizing that was bullshit, and I had to call bullshit and go, you know what? It was a reprogramming from then. And there was a level of affirmation, and there was a level of just being really present and conscious with myself, and really loving and nurturing, and realizing that the way that I'm speaking to myself, I wouldn't even speak to my worst enemy. You know what I mean? So it's cultivating the relationship with self and loving myself first.
Yeah, beautiful. And for you, what about in terms of adornment? Are there some sort of overarching principles that you have with that, in terms of feeling beautiful, or allowing yourself to radiate, allowing yourself to drop into that space? Is it just the affirmation piece and go, I am beautiful? Or is there some journaling that helps with awareness? Or are there some actual practices that people can do and take away and start practicing today, for instance?
There's definitely a level of journaling and affirmations and stuff like that. But for me, what I love, and this is so you can paint a picture in your head of when women get together and we play and put music on and dance and put on makeup, and it's before you go out is the funnest part. Every woman I talk to, they're it's my favorite bit to get ready with my girlfriends and put on music and have fun before you even go out. So it's creating that ritual space of music, of dance, of the things that really lift your vibration and allow you to feel good. So for me, it is music and it is dance, and it's stepping into that kind of thing. And I literally have a party in my house by myself, for myself. You know what I mean? So it's creating those kind of spaces and places where you can do that, and then start to rewire this new way of love and self-love.
Yeah. And it's a key word that you said there that really stood out, and I've been thinking throughout the whole of our chat, is the 3-letter word, the F word, fun. So I think that is a huge piece. If it's not fun, we're not going to want to do it. If it's not fun, we're not going to be inclined to continue doing it, even if it's good for us. So I think making it fun is a huge piece there for sure. And just, I know we've got to wrap up soon, so I'm conscious of that. I was curious for you in terms of really knowing what, I don't know how you can do it, but just maybe some specifics around the application of makeup. I know you've got a ton of knowledge on that. Is there any pieces or videos that you share, or any resources that you can point people toward, or just some principles or concepts around that people can take away?
Yeah, that's a tricky one. It depends on the look, but I guess it, there's different tools we can use as women, different ways to apply makeup. But if you don't know, it's instead of going, I don't know, I'm just not going to wear it, seeking out the information that you need to be able to feel empowered enough to wear it. So I do have on my Facebook page some videos of me doing makeup and stuff like that. More of that is going to come. I am going to post more of that sort of stuff. But at the moment, I think it's do whatever you need to do to be able to gain the knowledge to feel confident enough to be able to even just do the basic look, the bit of a bit of something on your skin and a bit of mascara, or just some like lipstick and mascara can make you feel 1,000 times better. Or just a bit of lipstick, like get a beautiful color lipstick and put that on and you'll feel the difference. It's like, you know, you can be having a shit day and you put on a bright lipstick and you're like, oh, whoa, I feel good now, because you look different and you're embodying a different energy. So I think it's like having a play with that and just keeping it really, really simple and seeking what you need to learn.
And having a playfulness with it as well. You just mentioned there as well again.
Play. I have so much fun. Like, it's the funnest part of my day. I could literally play all day with makeup, and it's because I create a really fun space.
And in terms of,
it's just that.
In terms of like having guys do the same thing, do you work with men, or like do you work with men in makeup and adornment and beauty and all this stuff as well?
I haven't actually. Like, I've done makeup on men maybe 3 times in my life, but I'm so open to playing with that. Yeah.
I'm just imagining that there'll be a whole bunch of guys, I want to play with this, or, you know, would be curious, or like, I would never do that. I'm imagining also a bunch of women as well, or female body people, or whatever, however they want to identify, that who would be thinking, oh, I would never wear makeup, I hate makeup, or whatever. And I'm thinking, well, these are probably the kind of people who benefit a lot from actually playing with it.
Yeah. So it's creating it in a really fun way, and not taking yourself so seriously, and not thinking that you have to be a pro to wear it. Like, even just one product can literally change the way that you feel. So it's been curious enough.
And talking about products, what's your stance on like the ethicalness of all these, you know, makeup, cosmetic kind of companies and industry, and all, you know, like where do you stand?
That is like a whole nother hour conversation. I've got some very strong belief systems around products. And I go deep into that when I do my events and training and stuff. But I think for me, it's like, it must be vegan, and it must be like botanical based of some sort, because the amount of petrochemicals and shit they're filling our products with is ridiculous. And also being aware that in Australia we don't have laws around what's in the products, and the fact that we have to like state stuff on the bottles. So realizing that it's not like registered, like they can do whatever they want. So being really, really choosy with what you use, and seeking, like doing research. Like, don't just take people's word for it. Really research yourself and build your own knowledge up around it. It's like, and finding what works for you, and giving advice when you need advice.
Do you have any resources around that? Do you have any where people can go and check? And is there any online blogs or people that you know that really have a list of things that are really ethical and really vegan or whatnot, or does that not exist? Or
not really, but I think I might have to do that now. After this call, it's made me realize that it's actually really hard to find information. Like, I found it just because I had to in my business and stuff like that. But
are there anyone you want to shout out for who are doing a really good job?
Who's what?
Are there any people you want to shout out? Any companies, organizations that are doing a really good job doing this stuff, who you love?
Well, for hair care, I only use one product, and it's called Quaba, and it's made in Melbourne, and I literally won't touch anything else. It is like the best, and because I know the owner who creates it, it's all like the family run business, like it's beautiful. At the moment, I'm trialing out new skincare and stuff like that, so I'm kind of in a bit of a transition period myself. And makeup, I'm reevaluating what I've been using, so I'm not going to share that just yet until I find something that's like really, really incredible.
Beautiful. Are there any kind of rules that you go by? I know you said vegan. I know you said, what are the other pieces that you said there has to be?
Based. So vegan, botanical based. Preferably, like, it can't be full organic because it wouldn't survive on the shelf. So like something that has organic products in it, but, you know, just like as natural as possible, really. And knowing
in terms of fragrances and stuff, are they like essential oils, or is it like if you see numbers and things like this, are you staying away from it? Yeah. And you know what? Some of the number like products, so there's an app that I use called Chemical Maze,
and you can type in the random codes and it will tell you exactly what it is and what it does to the body and stuff like that. So that's really good to just know, especially if you're in the supermarket or something like that.
That's called what? Sorry, you want to just say that again?
It's also good chemical maze.
M-A-Z-E?
Yeah. Yeah. And yeah, some of those number ones, they're actually normal ingredients. Like they just make it seem like it's all the coding, like the scientific coding crap. So yeah, don't be too freaked out if there are numbers on natural products. Just like do your research. Yeah.
Yeah, awesome. And I know for me, like I pretty much if I can't eat it, I don't put it on my skin or on my hair. That's like a basic rule that I go by.
Totally. So yeah, a lot of my skincare at the moment is coconut oil and jojoba oil and rosehip oil and these beautiful, beautiful products. But yeah, I do like to trial different things as well and see what my skin's needing, especially because I've just moved up to Queensland and it's a whole different, like the air's different, the water's different. Your skin and hair can change depending where you are, depending what's in the water, depending on the climate. So being aware of all of these things too.
Yeah, 100%. And are there any kind of home remedies or secret little tricks that you use that you can share?
Oh. What do I do that's like amazing? I literally use coconut oil for everything. Like I ingest it, I oil pull, I put it on my skin. It's just like I put it in my hair for treatments. Like it's incredible and it's like the cheapest product. Is there
any particular extra virgin? Is there some like particular
cold press? Yeah, cold press definitely is a must. Yeah, just the way that they process it. And I'm such a no on the pawpaw cream. The pawpaw that everyone puts on their lips. That is full of petrol. Like it's petroleum based. It's really bad. So just like if you're going to use that, at least get the one that doesn't have the petroleum in it. It's just horrible. And what else do I do? You know what? I actually don't really do a lot. Like I've made like olive oil and sugar like scrubs before, and they're really beautiful, and put like essential oils with them, and that's really nice to just scrub your skin and then wash it off in the shower, and that leaves your skin feeling beautiful. And I also, what dropped in then? I also do body brushing.
Tell us about that.
So I do that every morning. I have quite a big brush. It's not too hard, the bristles, but they are quite firm. And I brush like my whole body, and I brush from like the bottom of my legs all the way up and the arms all the way in, and I'm pulling it into the heart area, and I'm activating the lymphatic system so my body can start like releasing toxins, and it just like wakes up my whole body and allows me to just like, I feel so energized after I do it.
Amazing. Is it definitely up? It's definitely up. It's like the down motion doesn't.
And then you're always just bringing it towards the heart. Like,
is there some sort of science between that, or like if you brush this way, is something different going to happen? Or
I feel like there probably is some science on it, but I feel like it's more just like activating the body, bringing it back to the heart, getting the blood pumping. It's like bringing it back to the center point so it can then like healthy new blood can go back out.
Yeah, awesome. Awesome. Yeah. That's a nice way to bring it all back to blood.
Yeah.
The blood rich. So we will wrap it up there. Thank you so much for your time. I thoroughly enjoyed this chat, and hopefully we can do it again sometime in the future.
Definitely.
It's a good little introduction at least. And just finally, like living life in the flow zone is the title of this podcast. What really helps you to get into flow? What does flow mean to you, and what helps you to really get into flow?
Dance, flow. So stepping into movement, some sort of body movement really allows me to step into my flow, allows me to step into my feminine, just being present in the moment, focusing on my breath. Yeah. Beautiful. It means life.
Inspiration.
Yeah.
So good. And finally, very finally, if you had one tweet to go out to the world, you knew you were going to die tomorrow, you had one message to leave with the world, what would that be?
YOLO.
I don't have it on. I don't have the yoni.
I love that. You only live once. Just like have fun. Oh,
Awesome.
yeah.
Thank you so much. We'll see you soon. Have fun blood witching it up and doing your cauldron of blood ritual. Best of luck with all that you're doing, and we'll definitely tune in soon. So until next time, guys, keep the flow.
Keep that. Thanks.
The growth flowing.
Yeah.